Let's jump into problem 22.2a. We're accounting for a change in estimate. There's a depreciation change in this problem. So with a change in estimate, just in the back of your mind, you should be saying, oh, change in estimate, those are done prospectively. I don't need to retrospectively adjust prior financial statements. I make an adjustment going forward. And these are the easier types of adjustments to make. Summerland Orchards operates a fruit picking facility on January 1st, 2027. Summerland purchased automated sorting line, so a piece of equipment for $840,000, signing a 10-year life and $40,000 residual value. So always, like every accountant should be doing this, going, oh, it's $840 cost, the residual value is $40, so its depreciable cost is $800,000. We're doing this over 10 years, so our depreciation rate, because it is straight line, is $80,000 per year. Quick cough. At the beginning of 2031, after 4 full years of use, management concluded that a rigorous maintenance program and slower than expected technological obsolescence justify revising the sorting line's total useful life. This is important. Total useful life to 14 years. So that's not 14 years from now. It's 4 years later. It's saying we've used it for 4 years. We're going to get 10 more years out of it from now. And that phrasing is really tricky, and you'll see it phrased different ways in different questions. So this one says, revising the sorting line's total useful life to 14 years from the date of purchase, right? The total useful life is 14 years from the date of purchase, not from today. Management also reduced the estimated residual value to $30,000, reflecting the equipment's age at the end of the longer service period. So we're going to be able to sell this or salvage from it $30,000 at the end of its life. We used to think $40,000. Okay. It asks us to calculate the depreciation expense. How do we do this? Well, you have to say, where is the asset now? Like, what is it sitting at on our books? So its cost, and when is now? Now is the beginning of 2031, when we make the change. So on January 1st, 2031, we showed a cost on this asset of $840,000, just what we paid for it. Our, not residual value, our accumulated depreciation so far was how much? Well, we had 4 years worth of depreciation. We bought it in January 2027. So 2027, 2028, 2029, and 2030, bringing us to 2031. Its 4 years have elapsed at $80,000 per year. That's $320,000 is 4 times 80. So 840 minus 320 means we show a net book value. We show an asset on our books worth $520. And now, because it's prospective, we go, we're not going to fix those old, the fact that our estimate was off. We're just going to say that happened. Going forward, what do we think is going to happen with this asset? Well, we just go, okay, well, I have a $520,000 asset. Its residual value is $30,000. Estimated residual value changed to 30, so its depreciable cost is $490. And how many years do I have from now? Well, it was a 14 years from the date of purchase. It's 10 years from now, right? We're 4 years in. So you just got to be careful with your reading of how many years and from the date or whatever. It's 10 years from now. The fact that it's 10-year useful life initially and it's 10 years from now is just a strange coincidence. Don't think much of that. Those numbers, I wouldn't expect this number to match this number very often. It did here. 490 divided by 10, $49,000 per year in depreciation expense. So debit, depreciation expense, credit, accumulated depreciation for $49,000. That'll be our year-end adjusting entry on December 31st, 2031. I think I've fully answered the question. So calculate depreciation expense, $49,000. Prepare the December 31st, 2031 entry, debit, depreciation expense, credit AD, $49,000. Determine the carrying amount of the sorting line. Okay, well, at the start of the year, the line is being carried at $520. Well, what about at the end of the year, December 31st, 2031? Cost of the asset remains the same. The accumulated depreciation was $320. We added $49,000 in depreciation, so we're at $369. $840 minus $369 says, well, at the end of this year, it's being carried at 471K after adjustments. Next, it says explain why the depreciation recorded for 2027 through 2030 is not adjusted. Okay, why don't we do an adjustment to fix the past years? And the answer is this is based on an estimate. And so we have estimates all over accounting, and our estimates are always going to be wrong. If we had to go back and adjust every estimate that turned out to be wrong, that's all we would do. So there's sort of an acknowledgement from the accounting standard setters that say this is normal. Financial statement users understand when we estimate the life of an asset, we go, this asset's going to last me 17 years. You know, it's never going to last exactly 17 years. So you change your estimates frequently enough that you just go, these types of changes are very normal in accounting and they can be done going forward. It's not like an error where you got to fix a mistake. It's just a wrong estimate, which is very normal. How is this reflected in the financial statements? Well, obviously our depreciation expense will be different. Our accumulated depreciation will be different as a result of this. And there will be some note regarding the change in life, right? We will disclose that likely in our capital assets note where we discuss our depreciation. We'll say we changed the life and give some justification for it. Last one, calculate the effect of the revision on the income before tax compared with the amount that would have been reported under the original estimate. So originally we said, original depreciation expense for this year would have been 80K if we stuck with the original numbers. Our revised depreciation expense is 49K, so the difference here is 31K. What does that 31K mean? Well, our income before tax is going to be 31K higher because our expenses are 31K lower. So again, exp is 31K lower, income before tax is 31K higher. There you go. That would be my answer to part D. That would be my answer to 22-2A. And if you make it to the end, I hope your answer is to hit that thumb. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye for now. The next video in our series is right up here. And if you want a supercut of all of the videos in this series, that's the one down below.